Thank you all, guys, for joining this podcast. I'm happy to introduce all of our guests. You guys can start off, and I'll go first and be basically. If you guys don't know me, I'm Mippy. I do rogue builds, and I'm the Mobalytics team lead for D4. And I brought us all together to talk about season 10 and have a nice chat about everything that's happening and how we're gonna feel for the season and how everything is going to be going. Right, if you guys want to introduce yourself, let's start out with Rob and then go to Cryptus, then Roos, and then Sanctum.
Yo, hey guys, I'm Rob. Like to play Diablo a lot. I also play pretty much all the classes, and I can't wait. Season 10 is looking to be probably the craziest power level out of all, and no matter which class you like, no matter what you want to play, all the builds are going to be extremely strong. Hope you're going to enjoy.
All right, thanks. I'm Cryptus. For anybody that doesn't know me yet, I am the Barb writer for Mobalytics. I'm incredibly excited about this. I play pretty much only D4. On my off time, I'll play some D4, and then on my off time from gaming, I play some more D4. So we do D4 all the time, so I'm pretty excited to hop into this insane season. Welcome to the Barb Nation.
I'm Ruse, but most people know me from the Goblin Inc. YouTube channel. And I'm the Necro class lead for Mobalytics. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for the season. Should be fun. A lot of cool Necro stuff. Minions in particular, pretty exciting. Couple new Blood Surge builds, a lot of cool stuff to look at. So pretty excited for the season.
I'm Sanctum. I do Rogue with Mippy for Mobalytics. I'm a bit of a trader though. I did Spiritborn when it launched. I'm doing Druid this season. So, I shift around. Mostly Rogue. I love my Rogues, And yeah, it's gonna be a fun season. I like that the Chaos Armors gives me something to farm, and there's a lot of build opportunity. A lot of different ways to build because of them. Pretty cool. I like it.
All right, that sounds really good. So I have a short agenda that we have for the podcast. At first, I want to talk about your overall impression for season 10. What do you like about the season, especially chaos armors, perks? What interests you? What are you gonna do in the season, right? And later, after we have that through, we're gonna talk about the classes, what we think is gonna be the top class, what's gonna be the top build, and how our tier list. Rob has an own tier list as well. We can talk about that too, and also our expectations for what builds are gonna perform and what we do. What do we recommend for people to play? Right? That's kind of what we're trying to look at here. All right, so. This time we're going to start with Sanctum, and then we're going to go to Rob, then Cryptus, and then Roos. So, what does excite you about Season 10, Sanctum?
What excites me? I mean, honestly, I just like the Chaos Armor system. I like that. I mean, the only thing I would say I would hold against it is that hordes become too easy, a bit too fast. But other than that, I like that there's something further, It's like before, you got your legendaries, 2GA, maybe if you farmed a lot 3GA, but that's kind of far away. You get your mythics, you're done. That's it. Unless you're like Rob, you're a machine, you play every class, every build, then you're kind of over, It's over for you. So the Chaos Armors extend that period a bit further, So I'm just looking forward for that.
Sounds great, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm obviously looking forward to... Oh, you want to keep going?
No. Go ahead, Rob.
All right, so I'm looking forward to playing all the classes, but like I said earlier, I also think the power creep or the power level is extremely high, and I think if you play quite a bit, you're gonna run out of endgame content to do relatively fast, because I'm kind of expecting the first classes like Spiritborn, Sorcerer, they're probably gonna crush T4 in 6-7 hours or something like that from the launch, because the power level is just extremely high. And where do you go from there in the end? You play some more pits. But I just wish that there would be more endgame content, long term with this level of power creep. I really like that they didn't completely destroy the pulverized druid or the Hydra Sorc or the Ball Lightning Sorc and stuff like that. So they didn't really nerf anything. And I like to see that, but I would also love to see some more endgame content in some way. That being said, however, I think this is the perfect season to just try the build that you've never played or that was maybe even never viable. Because with those chaos perks, I think every build is gonna basically just crush T4 and everything works. Because there's not really any point or any incentive or any reward to do high pits, apart from some community-friendly competition. So just play whatever build you always wanted to play and just have some fun on it. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great
it's
call.
interesting. Just to kind of bounce off that a bit, it's interesting what you say about like there's not much to do other than pits. But what's interesting is like all the tier lists and stuff have always been based around like pit tiers. But like you said, like pit tier pushing isn't like the most interesting thing. So it's interesting, it's something we've been discussing about a lot of MOBAs, like whether or not like the tier list should be entirely just pits or if we should include, T1 to 4 progression. But like you said, the season's a lot easier, so it's a weird problem.
Yeah, we've seen that on Maxwell, for example. They changed their tier list metric a little bit. They have now an overall in-game tier list where they have sort of like author recommendations. It's kind of a cool system. I've been always wanting to do that back then as well, so it's kind of cool that they did it now. But yeah, definitely, as Ruth said, something that we, as the game evolves and the seasons evolve, is something we should keep in mind for sure.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's a good thing not to focus only on pits in the end, because like most people don't really care if they can do like pit 105 or pit 110 or pit 115. It's the same thing. They just want to have like a fun and nice build. So I think like there's like so good that there's like so many different like creators, people out there that have like different metrics and their own like ideas of how they value, and how much they weigh each of the points in the tier list. And it's just like good to see like a good variety of all those different builds like now being possible. And like basically you just want to log in, we want to play some video games, and we just want to have some fun, And some fun doesn't mean like you need to clear pit 120. So it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that sounds great. Like I said, like as soon as you get the glyphs up to 100, right? Does it really matter how fast you do like 110 or like 105? Maybe a little bit for XP farming, right? If you want to like get Paragon 300, but other than that, it's kind of whatever, right?
Yeah, but it's like even for that, like if you want to farm XP, I mean, you can just play like pit 69 or something, like on an 8 build.
It's not that big.
You can play Lightning Spear. You just go 59. You play Lightning Spear. You're probably gonna be faster than that guy that clears pit 100 in like 3 minutes. You're still gonna be faster just doing 59. So it doesn't matter.
Let's say you can do 89 at the same time though, right? That's kind of interesting. If you actually could.
Yeah, sure, but it's gonna be hard to beat like a Lightning Spear sorcerer like speed farming in an 89.
Yep. Maybe Dash Trap can do it. Who knows?
Hope so.
Anyway, clip this. What do you think?
I'm pretty excited, honestly. I love playing off-meta builds. My absolute favorite thing to do, and this season just allows those to shine. So we're going to have a whole bunch of different power creep, like Rob was saying, that it's going to affect all of the builds that everybody's like, and I wish we could play this build. I wish we could play this build. All those builds are going to be available. I have fun in every single Diablo 4 season that we play. I haven't had a bad season personally. I just really love playing the game. So I'm very excited to get in. I think my favorite build coming out of the PTR was actually a pure brawling build. It's not the strongest build, but it just was like this crazy smashing barbarian build. So I'm very excited to like explore that, play every single build that I possibly can, get a lot of builds out for people, because it's going to be a very, very fun season.
I'm glad you guys are looking forward to the season. And like, it's so good to see. Like, I mean, we're 10 seasons into Diablo 4, right? And there's still passion going from many of you guys, and I also feel the same. I personally am looking forward to farming the Chaos Uniques as well, and getting like the perfect 2 GA of the Beastful boots that I need, and then like maybe Scoundrel's leathers with like the right GAs everywhere. It's gonna be a fun hunt. It gives us something to do, which I think is a good thing. I do like that they're not tradable. That way you can, have a good time on that one and try to blast some hordes with the friends, especially, and then just hang out and, progress your character a little bit. It's a good thing. Because last season, I mean, what did we do after we got to T4? We kind of only ran pits in a group, and then, went to Belial and occasionally run Undercity if we needed like Opticide or something. But that was
running 1,000 the Belials with duped maps. That's not fun.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's still going to be duped maps in season 10.
We're cautiously optimistic, man. Hopefully after 10 seasons,
I am also cautiously optimistic.
Like, I don't want to use again. Like day one, thousands of Duriel mods, man. Please no.
Okay, but let's talk about this. Like, how do you think is the game going to be if there's no dupes? Like,
I mean,
it's going to change.
What's going to change?
Lot.
Yeah.
So people won't have access to unlimited uniques. So the unique pool is going to be very, very small. There's trading would take a hit for sure. Things are going to be more valuable because they'll be more rare. So I think that it would change like the landscape of the game completely. It would slow everything down by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think having dupes or
Absolutely.
not this season doesn't really like change all that much, because like if you go through your builds, like how many uniques do you really have in your builds anymore? Because everything is chaos armor and those are not tradable anyways. So I think they did a good job, like not talking about the dupes directly,
That's
but
true.
they did a good job like solving the Belial jail with the chaos armor, because you don't go Belial to farm chaos armor, and only early on. Okay,
That's
Belial early on is going to be very good, but later on, like in the end game builds, you want to have the chaos powers. And in most of my builds, maybe I play one unique. A lot of them have 0 uniques because they're just in the chaos armor anyways, which you can't get from Belial. So if there's dupes or not, like we're not gonna like farm that much Belial anymore, and I think that's a really good thing for the game.
I think one of the major things from duping is the gold dupes. I think a lot of times, because like we interact with trade and stuff, we don't really get a good feeling for like what actual gold would look like without dupes. Like on day 2, when you sell an item that you got for 90 billion gold, you're pretty much like usurping that entire system. But I think if there's actually no dupes, I think the thing that's going to change the most is how much of a bottleneck gold is. I think in general people don't realize like how hard it is to do anything without infinite gold.
Yeah, like specifically gold is actually not duped, but gold is basically generated by selling duped items, right, to the vendor. That's how gold dupes work.
Oh yeah.
So, as far as I've been told from people I talked to, so hopefully that's fixed. If that's fixed, that kind of changes the landscape of the game, as Cliptus has said.
Yeah, it'll slow down a lot.
I think.
Yeah,
I
so at
think
least
if the chests and infernal hordes that grant gold actually granted like 10 times as much, then maybe we can have good access to gold. But other than that, do you guys feel like you want to do whispers to get gold?
Oh no.
maybe you got to start
Prepare
selling
for
your items instead of salvaging everything to get gold. I mean, like if you can farm some bosses and sell the uniques that you find instead of salvage them, what we do right now. Like that's a good. I think that was the best gold income, even like in comparison to hordes. But anyways, we're gonna have to do many hordes, and at some point we don't need any more Optic-sites. So yeah, I think gold is gonna be fine if you play a lot. But
that's actually fair because you're gonna be doing so many hordes for chaos uniques. So you're gonna. Yeah.
I'm also really interested. Do you guys think, have you tried this on the PTR? Because like basically the hordes itself is not so efficient, right? You really want to just kill Bartok all the time. So do you think that people are going to be farming 6-wave infernal hordes instead of like 10 waves once? If on average, or if in most 6-wave runs, you would get 666 ethers, I could see that being potentially more efficient than just doing the 10 waves hordes.
I would say the best way is probably 8 waves, honestly. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, all them good middle
Yeah,
ground,
no, yeah. No, that's. I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, I don't know if 6, because you're risking that run not succeeding if you get the wrong things. So,
and you kind of also want to open at least the material chest in some capacity, right? Even if it's just like 100 Aether or something, you just want to have something left to open the chest to get like at least a little bit of upside as well. Because we will be naturally farming Bartok a lot in the season. So if we can go slightly higher, like maybe 8 or potentially even 10, right? If it's worth to just go 10 just to get like this extra Opticite bump and gems and whatever else the chest drops, it might actually be worth it. Or even if you just want to get some gold, right? You can just do 10 waves and spend the remaining stuff on gold or materials. I think there's very little merit to going 6 waves, to be very fair. I guess that's only a thing if you really want to pump out Opticite. But I think 8 or 10 waves is probably the way to go.
Yeah,
there was actually a question.
That sounds super interesting as well, because then all the horde keys matters. Like in the start, when you're not that powerful, maybe you want to more focus on the 10 waves to make sure you get that 666 ether. And then in the end, when you're like really strong, maybe you still want to do 8 wave. Maybe you can do 6 waves. We'll see. It's gonna be good to have all the.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I did a bunch of testing when we got there, and I recorded some of the numbers. And an average 10 wave, I was getting about 9,000 Opticite to 10,000 Opticite total, and that included opening the chests and stuff. Jesus. So I don't know. We'll have to see how much it scales with the new season and what we can do with the crazy classes. But
yeah, that's a ton. But I think that was also like, so that's PTR numbers, and they did reduce or half the amount of chaos waves. So instead of like 5 chaos waves, we're gonna get like 2, I think, in the 10 wave. So I guess that number, because the chaos waves were really where it was at getting the ether, right? But I'm really excited also to see like what the Soul Spire is gonna do. Like I think the base used to be 1 ether per Soul Spire, and now it's 5. So they're like 5 extra.
Yeah,
maybe that's a new meta,
pretty
man. Like, that could be crazy.
Maybe just stacking Soul Spires is gonna be good. I mean, for Death Trap is cool. you know,
Yeah,
just
but
pull
they're
it
not
in.
fun, dude. I
That's what
hate
everybody
Souls.
wants to hear.
I
Stacking
will
soul
say,
spires is gonna be good.
it is rough on Necro, bro. Like if you don't have a jaw rune, trying to hustle your
Yeah.
butt over there.
I think the issue with these kind of things is like it's a design problem, right? It's they salt spires are not fun, right? But they try to make them played by increasing the rewards, which I think is a little bit backwards. I would love it to be more like, hey, we have this mechanic, it isn't fun. Instead of just increasing the rewards, let's make the actual mechanic fun, or like let's change the mechanic to be something that's more enjoyable to do. It's kind of similar to other activities that we have in the game. Like Dark Citadel, for example, is a thing. Would you guys run that if it had better rewards?
Well,
Like,
yeah,
is it-
imagine if you did Dark Citadel, you get like a Mythic Spark or something, then people would for sure do it. But yeah, no, like the reward
but the
balancing in
question is-
general in this game is very swingy. Like it's a lot of times like there's either like a lot of resources in this game, like you know in your inventory, like right now like gold is practically an infinite resource, whereas like Offusite is very limited, and then you know there's a million random materials and stuff. Half of them you have so many of them you don't even know they exist, and then some of them are just there's usually like one or two for each type of crafting. That's such a massive bottleneck. It's like the main thing, and so like a lot of this balance I think is kind of whack in general for rewards.
I actually really like the Dark Citadel. And when it first launched,
Okay.
it was actually really great for getting 2 to 3 GA gear. And we would, because it reset on just a couple day timer, we would just play every single character that we had in that timer and just to farm 2 and 3 GA, because the final rewards are actually pretty decent. And when it first launched, there wasn't all of these ways, like the guarantee greater affix chest from your reputation boards and stuff like that. There was a lot less ways to get guaranteed greater affixes, so that was a really good farm in the very beginning and when it first launched.
That's crazy. I didn't know that farm. That's nuts. Never heard of that.
By the way,
Yeah.
for the audio issue, someone just pointed me. If you restream the stream and mute yourself, then there's no delay.
All the tricks in the books. I'm good like this. But yeah, nice.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah. We can try
Just
it. We can
saying.
try it next time. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point about Dark Citadel, honestly. I personally think like the few times I played it, right, I think it was pretty fun, but it's very long for like how short spanned most of the content in D4 is. Dark Citadel is like a big outlier because you spend quite significant amount of time in the wings, and the whole run takes you like, even if you're experienced, it does take you like 20 to 25 minutes, give or take, which is a little bit longer than most of the activities in the game. And specifically, like, unless you're pit pushing, which is like goes up to 15 minutes, right? You're usually spending something between 2 and maybe 5 minutes on an activity, usually. Like, if you think about doing a whisper run, maybe that's a little bit longer, but like a nightmare dungeon takes like 2 minutes, a pit run takes 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how much you do. And even Undercity is quite fast, so like one boss run. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Right.
But
There
yeah,
was
it
a
would be nice
question
to
in
see them
chat.
updated a little bit, but God.
Yeah. There was a question in chat where people asked, like, how's it going to feel like for the guys who play PoE to go back from PoE instant buyout to D4 trade?
It's not. There's the. We keep it positive, okay? D4 is a great game. Very excited to come back. A lot of good options. Chaos Armor's changed a lot. The trade is great. You know, economy is very good. So.
I mean, at least having a currency exchange of some sort in Diablo, like that would be like so good. Like no one is asking for like a full marketplace right away or like an auction house or whatever, right? Like just like a basic, simple system. Like I don't know, for like the boss materials, like make gold the currency, whatever. Have like a fee or something. I feel that would be like not super difficult to do, like from what I could tell, but. I think the game needs it at some point, especially if we want to like keep focus on trading. But right now, this season, obviously with the Chaos Uniques not being tradable, it's not really that big a deal because I think there's going to be a lot less trading than usual because like half your gear, more than half your gear is account bound. Maybe you have like 1 or 2 mythics and then you have 5 Chaos armors in a lot of builds, or like at least like 3 or 4. And yeah, it's not going to be that big an issue. But yeah, I think PoE solution is great, and I'll definitely deal limit it. It also felt so good, like when you went to bed and then you wake up the next day, and then you have like all this, like, I don't know,
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
you have
like
money.
10 divine
Yeah.
orbs, 100 chaos orbs just coming in while you sleep, man. That felt so good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's all. Like,
Yeah.
honestly,
I feel
to be fair, there's not a PoE podcast, but I have to say, PoE knocked it out of park with instant buyout and the new trade system. It's really great.
It did.
But yeah,
I
D4
feel like the
maybe
future for
can get something
D4
like this in the future. Who knows? Right?
I feel like the
Who
future's
knows?
more SSF personally. I think that
Yeah.
I think the economy in
D4.
D4 is too difficult. Like, it's very hard to like retroactively design an economy for trade because, in my opinion, the D4 economy is not very conducive to trade. So rather than going the route of
point.
like making trade better, I would much rather they go a route of like SSF essentially, or like some light version of SSF. I don't know what it would look like exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I see
Yeah,
where you're coming from,
absolutely.
but the economy in D4 is just so bad because we had dupes for 10 seasons, and like there was no economy. It
You're
destroyed
not wrong.
D4 instantly, in my
But-
opinion.
100% that's true.
He's
100%.
We
right.
don't
If
even know what
if
it
you-
looks like, you know?
Yeah, but I think Roos is
Yeah.
actually right. Like, if let's say dupes are fixed, right? The economy tends to trend much more into SF because so many things are actually account bound as well. Like, and I think it would actually work quite well in a game like D4, honestly.
Especially with the
Oh, yeah, I would love
leaderboards.
SSF. I would love it.
If there was SSF, I think the leaderboards would be 100 times more fun.
Oh yeah, for leaderboards for sure. That's a nice little thing. They want dupes again. Hey, we can hope. Okay, let's we gotta keep up the positive spirit, right? Right?
Gotta have some copium, some hopium, you know? It's gonna happen.
yeah.
It'll
Cautiously
be a big stat.
optimistic.
If there's actually no dupes, it's a big stat. Like, it would bump the game up. a whole
For me,
tier, I
it's
think.
always like, I believe it when I see it, you know, like in
Yeah,
day two,
I
if
believe
people
it
are
when I
like
see it.
throwing thousands of Belial
You
bots
know-
around, like I'm happy.
You know,
I mean, to
Rob-
be fair, they've been duping since what, D2, D1, I think.
Yeah, true.
Not
But
like
I mean, there's
this.
dupes in other games as well. It's just like
Yeah.
2
Oh, yeah, no,
years,
it's
man. We're
everywhere.
10 seasons in,
it's
we still have
everywhere.
dupes every season. Like, that can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if
it
leaderboards
happens
were only
occasionally in
SF?
other games,
That'd
but
be good.
I've never seen a game where it's as
Yeah, but they fixed it very
omnipresent.
fast. For example, like if we're talking about PoE,
That's true.
like when they had the dupe in PoE around Christmas, like they fixed it like within a week, and that was around Christmas, right?
Mhm. And they
It was like with the
mass bans
Temporalis
went
thing,
out
right?
and
Yeah, Temporalis is
everything.
dupe. Yeah, I mean, that's basically like an Enigma dupe or something. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So we're looking at that, and I think it's actually pretty cool. Good stuff coming. So I wanna take the discussion into a slightly different direction. We talked about dupes, we talked about expectations for the season. Now let's talk about the nitty gritty of the season, the stuff that people interest most. What do you think is the best class in season 10? Before you throw in anything, chat, what do you think is the best class in season 10? And then we can take it away and have let's actually start. Okay, let's actually start with Clip this because he's been grinning immediately when I asked it.
Barb.
I mean, it goes without saying. I can't get away from the barbarian, and not just because like they definitely won't have the highest pushing build in the season. That's definitely not going to happen. But I had 16 different builds on the PTR Clear Pit 100. It's huge. It's diverse. You can play pretty much any skill that you want to play. And it's going to be exactly what you want to do. Like it's going to be strong. It's going to be. We have some fast builds. We have some brawler builds. I'm looking forward to big bonks, trillions of damage. I'm looking forward to it. So I mean, for me, Varb Nation. That's where we're going with this.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I wish it was Bob, man. Like in my opinion, like if I had to rank the worst class, it would probably be Bob or Rogue. But you know, like like in terms of like like pit pushing, not in terms of fun or anything, right? This is like when you say strongest, you mean like the highest damage, the highest pit, right? Maybe.
Yeah, let's talk about strongest first, and
Yeah,
then we
okay,
talk
all
about
right,
most
yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
So-
different conversation. But
So
I'm
in
just
terms
different
of
conversation.
strongest, I think it's gonna be between the Bob and the Rogue. Which one is gonna take the last place? I'm not so sure. Because Mighty Throw still exists. I personally don't like Mighty Throw. It's okay for the people that play it, but the 12-second rotation range build, that's to me like not the true, identity of the Bob. I want to be like in the monsters' faces, swimming my weapons, and not play some stupid like 12-second range build. So since Mighty Throw is still so strong, even though with the nerf, I think it's gonna probably still end up being the strongest. And I don't like it. That's why I didn't rank it that high. I think the build is like not cool, and that's why I think
That's
like
not
Bob
fun.
is probably going to be like on the last place in terms of high pits. And if you want to go really high, then you must play Mighty Throw again, probably. We'll see. There's some potential with like some bleed stuff or some basic stuff. But I think Mighty Throw is going to take the W there. And then I think the real match is going to be in terms of strongest between Spiritborn and Druid. And to me, it's actually insane that they didn't nerf like the Druid at all. Like the pulverized Druid. I don't know if any one of you did the math, but it looks like the pulverized Druid get like, I don't know, like 10, 20x or something from what it is right now in the live season. And that's just completely wild. And Spiritborn also gets crazy. I did not expect, and I think it's also overkill to buff the Spiritborn Paragons. Like, I think it didn't need the buffs. Rogue really needed the buff to the Paragon, but I was so surprised. I was like, sure, they're going to nerf some stuff on Spiritborn, but they buffed it instead. So it's going to be
they
like...
did so many buffs on the Spiritborn.
It's ridiculous. Like, the Paragon nodes are like way over the top. And I'm secretly hoping that they fully nerf Jaguar main hall double dipping. Like, they definitely nerfed the Plains power like they said in the patch notes. Maybe they changed the other stuff, because then I could see Druid win over Spiritborn, but I believe it when I see it. So I'm under the impression they didn't nerf the rest of the Jaguar double dipping. So Spiritborn is probably going to do the highest pit, and the Druid's going to be right behind that. But legit, no bugs, probably the Druid would win.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob, you see the jacket, right? A lot of the stuff is, I believe it when I see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I think Rob pretty much nailed it. It's just gonna be Druid or Spiritborn. It's gonna come down to like a couple pit tiers, so that's very likely what the outcome's gonna be for strongest.
So one question there, like, what do you think is the Druid gonna do? How high pit, like roughly, like your estimate?
That'd be a better question for Sanctum.
Sanctum,
because I think.
Well, it depends. So I was calculating the pull Druid to like 150-ish trillion DPS. So it's not like it's all be over one. That's one over 130 for sure, right?
150.
That's definitely out of scope for Rogue.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
Normal.
That's assuming everything's
Normal.
up, right? In real terms, of more like 100 something, you know. But I mean, that's a stupid amount of DPS.
Yeah, so that's like a 10, 20x from what it is right now. Because people like have a reference point of how strong it is right now. It did like 150, 117 or something, right? They like roughly know how strong it feels
it's
right
probably
now.
around that, yeah.
So you at least add a
probably
zero
like
to
20,
it, and that's just crazy. Oh man,
That's pretty good,
that
honestly.
Druid's gonna smash, guys.
I would love to add a 0 to all Rogue builds, and we still would be the worst class in terms of pit pushing, but that's fine.
Yeah, if you add a 0 to Evan Piercer, maybe we'd be competitive, or to Shadow Blight rather.
Like,
but other than that,
I made this screenshot. I don't know. I shared this at some point where I had like the Rogue rank, like the Helltides.com leaderboard, right, and all the seasons next to each other, and then like Rogue was like 5 seasons in a row. Rogue was like last.
well, here's the thing about this game that's weird. So, like, because like pit leaderboards are one thing, and then there's the whole rest of the game. And Necro has been like the worst class for like everything up until Vessel of Hatred, because it's such a bad farming class. It's so slow compared to everything. But it was always good at pit pushing. But dude, those seasons where like Necro was bad at pit pushing, and like the class can't move, and the AOE sucks, like there's some rough seasons with Necro. At least Rogue always has the speed. I'm saying.
Yeah, Rogue is always
hey,
fast.
Clear.
We got the buffs now, so maybe we're not last.
Yeah, I was really happy to see the Rogue stuff. I was like, finally, like the Rogue gets some love to the passive. So that was like really needed. And you know, Cliptis, like if you ever want to try another class, you can just play Druid and pretend to be like a Hodor Barb and just play Pulverize. It's like it feels the same, man. Like it's just like, you know, an extra 0. Like no matter what you do on the Barb, like it's just a 10x multiplier if you go on Druid. Like there's no point. Oh, you did? Okay, nice. How did you like it?
Yeah. I love it. And I've actually played every single class. And I've played a lot of different builds on a lot of different classes. So I really enjoy I've hopped onto every single class, and every single class that I've hopped onto, I'm like, man, this is so much fun. So I haven't played a bad class. So they're all great. But I always just end up going back to the Barbarian. It's just I just have just the most fun on that class. But I've played them all, and I'm looking forward to, hopefully with the Chaos Armor, being able to get into some of the other classes a little bit faster than I normally do. And I think we're going to get a long season. So if we get a long season, then I will 100% be on. I love Ball Lightning. Absolutely love Ball Lightning. So I'm looking forward to some Ball Lightning Sork this season too.
Hell yeah.
That's great.
You know what's
honestly.
crazy about Rogue and Druid? The worst aspects for Druid are the best aspects for Rogue. Isn't that crazy?
It's the same
Like, how is
for
that
Bob,
possible, dude? It's so crazy, man. Like I'm out here using a 30% aspect on Rogue and being happy about it, and then I go to Druid, and like my worst aspect is like 80%.
Dude.
It's like
Exactly. It's so crazy.
That is
Jeez.
that's definitely rough.
Like you have like an option to go Starless Sky on Druid, and it's like meh, nah, I don't need it. I have way stronger
Yeah, it's like,
aspects on my
it's
legendary.
okay.
It's like
Yeah,
fuck
it's
this
okay.
thing, you know? Like I'm just gonna take
Yeah.
this ATX, get a temporal.
And
too.
you're on Rogue, you're like, how can I fit Starless into this
Yeah, then you
build?
have,
I'm
like,
not even
Barb and
spending
Rogue and
energy,
really,
but can I
like,
do it?
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, honestly. Yeah.
And then the uniques, dude. The uniques on Druid are, wow. Like the pulverized unique is, how much damage even is that? It's like Rogue has nothing like that.
Too
not
much.
even close.
Too much damage.
Yeah, the Rotting
The
Lightbringer
thing-
alone,
Yeah.
man, it's like a full build, man. It's like 100x or something overall.
So yeah, I don't know how it
The
is
thing
on
is,
other
they
classes.
usually do a lot of balance changes and stuff based on play rate. Is something I've like noticed over the years. Like if there's a Necro build that's really strong but no one's playing it, it'll keep getting buffed until people start playing it. I feel like that's what's happened with all of Druid. Is like Druid's popularity has plummeted. A lot of it, people I think went to Spiritborn and whatnot, and then now they've just buffed Druid and buffed Druid and buffed Druid, and now it's to the point where people are gonna play it again because it's so freaking insane.
The numbers are just so ridiculous on Druid. The only really problem is it's still kind of slow if you compare it to like a Sorg or Spiritborn or Rogue in a way, because you just have to move, right? I mean, yeah, you have Jarun, but you're still walking.
We're all so Necro
Oh
and
wait,
Druid,
not
man, we're
the
just
build I'm gonna
always-
play. Not the build I'm gonna play. I'm
Okay,
gonna be
there's the
treading around.
secrets. Okay, what is it? Spill the tea.
So I was doing some theory crafting on Boulder. Boulder actually has some nasty DPS, like around 40, 50 trillion.
Damn.
And then you can just shred around because you boulder while you move, you get it up, and then you just shred around and you jaw, and it should be pretty fast.
Oh, that sounds pretty cool. That sounds like a build I would try, man. Nice.
Yeah,
I'm looking
actually, me
forward to
too.
see that.
I love Shred.
Gee,
Shred
yeah,
is
Shred
super
was my
fun
favorite
to
in
play.
season
Yeah.
2. Let's go.
Oh, season 2, Blurred Beast was where it was at. That was fun.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Druid lock in. Dang.
Good luck in.
Yeah,
dude.
Boulder Shred. That sounds amazing.
So
I actually hadn't played Druid in 9 seasons since game
Wow.
launch, basically.
that's pretty good.
I mean,
Pretty
if it's
excited.
easy
the
to come
return
back
of the
and win,
druid.
Return of the Father.
back then? Wasn't your Discord title like Sanctum God of Mud or something?
Yeah, something like that. Dude, I actually found my sheet calculating Stormwolf DPS, like we're NATO. And back then, I was happy to do 5 million DPS. 5 million! 5 million. Now we're doing trillions.
The
Yeah,
damage
that's-
is insane.
Yeah, the
I mean,
power creep has just gone through the roof.
I'm not gonna lie. After looking at Necro stuff and then hearing all the numbers you guys are throwing around, I'm getting a little bummed out. Okay, like
Yeah. There was also like
Yeah.
there was something like some stuff on the. I mean, obviously every PTR clay also had like the double passive from Shroud, but wasn't there like Necro had some extra damage bug with like Soul Rift or something? Because I saw some crazy clears. There was like 123 or something on Necro, right?
as far as I know, that's still going to be the case. That it'll still be 123 for Shadow Blight. So
Okay.
well, okay. Hopefully, me saying this doesn't get it brought up, but Soul Rift is supposed to be capped at 10. Essentially, you're able to, using the Chaos Power, stack Soul Rift over and over and over again. So it's able to do an insane amount of instances of damage per second for proccing Shadow Blight. And essentially, without getting into detail, this just scales the damage insane. But it's supposed to be capped at 10. However, currently it's not capped. So basically, the more attack speed that you can get, the more you can stack it, which like exponentially increases your damage. So we'll see. Some people are trying to bring it to their attention, but we're trying to keep it on the DL. You know, trying to keep that.
Keep it low.
But we'll
keep
see if it
low.
ends up getting.
Yeah, nice.
We'll see
Nah,
if
I
it
think
ends
the
up
Necro
getting
deserves
fixed or
it, man.
not.
Like it's still not gonna be like the top dog. So like
No, it's still only
let them have it,
123.
you know?
Like we don't.
It's
Yeah, let us keep it. Let us keep
Yeah.
it.
And I mean,
So-
I think Soul Rift overall like looks very good for farming as well, right? I saw like some horde runs with it and pretty much everything. Like it's a very good build.
It's a fantastic farmer because you're essentially able to, especially for hordes, because you're able to basically precast all of your soul rifts out all over the whole screen, and then the second stuff spawns and dies instantly. And so you're able to basically fill the arena with insta kill stuff and just instantly kill. It's going to be one of Necro's best horde builds that we've had.
Cool.
So we got that
That's
going
really
for us,
nice.
okay? And
Nice.
hopefully we get a 123 pit around there, which should be our cap. So it's pretty good. The other thing, one thing I haven't mentioned yet that's really cool is the Necro Chaos Power, where it flips particularly the one that flips your core skills into ultimate skills. There's some insane stuff we've been cooking with that. There's some like pretty wild setups you can do. So there's a lot to
I
look
do
forward
like
to on
I do
Necro.
like what they did with the perks, where it just like changes around the way that a lot of the skills and stuff work. And I think it was pretty cool, except for the barbarian one, but all of the other ones look pretty cool.
It's the coolest seasonal power I think.
The
they've
rogue
done,
ones are
personally.
pretty bland too. Honestly.
Gotcha.
Okay, the Necro ones are
Yeah.
The
pretty
druid ones are
decent.
really cool. Yeah, the druid ones too. The rogue ones are kind of
Yeah.
kind of boring.
I mean, at least-
the thing is, like, Rogue has bad uniques in general. Like, there's no really, really good unique in Rogue, other than obviously Scoundrel Slayers and Beastful Boots, but that's like endemic to Death Trap as a build, right? But outside of that, the uniques are quite low in power comparatively. So the Chaos stuff doesn't do much for other builds. But it's kind of interesting. It's good that they did buff the Chaos perks for Rogue, though. Specifically, like the core skill one is very good because it benefits multiple builds.
How does
yeah.
it work?
Yeah, but it's just damage though. It's just damage.
It's
That's
literally
it.
just damage. So before it was your core, like all the core skills had has a chance to hit twice, right? But you do cap out hit twice anyway in any competent build because, well, there's not much else to pick really on the weapon to temper, right?
Right.
And then then we gave feedback about it, and it's like, hey guys, this is kind of does nothing, right? So maybe we can get something cool, something else, right? A few suggestions here and there, and then they were like, oh yeah, you're just gonna slap a 2.5x multiplier there and call it a day.
Too complicated. Just download it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine, right? I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining.
But,
But better like
So
that
I
than to
wish
get
they
the
would do
build
that on
nerfed
Barb
again,
on, like,
right?
one or two of those powers, because like Clift is like you said, like the Barb's power, like I put like two of them as like Beast Coiled and Merit Guard, and then I'm like, man, all the
That's
other like they all suck. Like I need to pick two of them, and which one gives me like something,
There's
Yeah,
a lot of Necro builds that are like that. Like the default
Yeah.
is just that combo. Like,
See, at least you can use your unique, because the unique chaos or perk for the barbs you can't use.
Yeah, they did it to slap like at least a 10x multiplier on there. Like even just if you just run like the basic number, it needs to have like a 10x, and it had like a 3 or 4x, and now it has like a 5 or 6x. So it's like still like you don't want to give up like 3 weapons to use this power. So stupid.
No, you just can't do it. It just doesn't work.
Like this needs like some basic number. It needs like at least a 10x, else like you're never gonna use this. So yeah, sad.
balance tend to vary between completely broken and unusable. There's not a lot of things in between.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy actually. Like sometimes, like some of the perks seem so good, and then we have some perks where you're like, okay, but does it really do anything, right?
Yeah.
Like the chaos burst thing. Did anyone of you guys craft a build around the chaos bursts? Like trying to scale chaos
I didn't
burst
even try,
damage?
dude.
It's
No,
hopeless.
I knew it was not gonna work. I knew it
There's
was
some
not gonna work.
Necro stuff. That's all I'll say. There's some Necro stuff. Work in progress. But we can do some funny things with it. But I don't know how good it is.
Yeah.
But
I like your hopium. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe for
absolutely.
D4 farming,
Really
you
good.
could make a build around that. That could be pretty fun to afford.
Yeah,
D4
for D4,
farming,
yeah.
speed, like something like that. But like for high numbers, I feel like whenever this is like, I call it like environmental damage, like damage that's not coming from your character, but from some like proc of the season. We had this a lot in D3 as well, and obviously early on in D4 as well. And I think like this is like really hard to balance though, because either it's a build that does like really good damage, or it's like basically unusable, like maybe with the exception of early game or something.
Yeah.
So I also
100%.
don't really like want necessary to have like a proc do like, the craziest amount of damage.
No.
So.
It's a very binary system, and I've gave this feedback a lot of times as well, where it's like either it's good enough so it overshadows all your skills and this is going to be your main damage driver, or it's not as good as your skills and you'll never use it because of how multiplicative damage scaling in D4 works, right? We kind of want one source to be our main damage, and we scale all of our multipliers into it, and then this is going to be our damage. Like, we don't have this thing in D4 yet where we have multiple damage sources. Like, for example, a dual core skill build is really not a thing, because you're for those of you guys who play Dungeons and Dragons, in Dungeons and Dragons, you kind of don't want to split your attributes. Like, you don't want a character that's into strength and dexterity altogether. You kind of want to focus on one thing, and it's called going mad because it's multi-attribute dependent. So you don't want to go mad in D4 as well. So you just want to put all your eggs in one basket, essentially.
in order for it to work, you'd have to design the game from the ground up to function where you can have multiple different things do damage. Like, the game that shall not be named, for instance. But yeah, they would have to really rework like a lot of fundamental stuff. D4.
PoE does not solve that either. Let's be real though. It mostly devolves
It
into
does a better.
spamming one
It
skill.
does a better job though.
Yeah, but sort of.
I don't know.
Like,
I
at
just feel like
least-
in
at least-
PoE, there's like 60% of people playing Deadeye Lightning Spear, Lightning Arrow or something, right?
True.
Like, it's like,
Yeah,
I
exactly,
don't know,
dude.
man.
But then again, for bosses, you actually bust out the lightning rod, right? So
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but
did you guys in D4 play a build recently where you had one skill specifically only equipped to kill the boss?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It doesn't really happen much in D4. Wait, what build? What build? played that in D4?
I put together in season 9 a lunging strike build that only used lunging strike. There was nothing else on the bar, 0, and it cleared pit 102.
Well, no, he's talking about like, so for example, like in PoE, you'll have like a
Okay.
leap slam for AoE and then rolling slam for bossing type of thing.
Okay, I thought he said one skill on the bar. That was it. I just had a one skill
No.
build.
I just mean, did you make a build where you specifically had one dead skill on the bar, which is only used when you actually wanted to kill the boss? For Rogue, that has never been a thing.
I think historically in basically all Diablo games, like even in D3, like these kind of like hybrid builds where you scale like 2 different skills damage, it never works. Like I don't think we've never had that.
Yeah.
You always like the meta is always, or the best way to build your character, most DPS is always you focus on one thing and you get every single multiplier that the game has to offer. That's literally like in the end all that matters. Like you just want to have the craziest multipliers, like the highest multiplier, and
Yeah,
it's
100%.
never been a hybrid build to my knowledge.
Yeah, speaking of D3, it's actually a good segue here because I wanted to have you guys talk about how do you think group play is going to change? Would you like to see more group play in D4? Like
I
in
would
D3, for example, we had
Yeah.
like different classes covered different roles. Like for for Greater Rift XP farming, we had like a trash killer, we had a boss killer, we had a support, and we had whatever else, right? And that's kind of the thing that we don't have in D4. Like we don't have classes do different roles. Everyone is just damage, right?
So I have extremely strong opinions about this. So I come from D3. I was like, a bunch of rank 1 clears and whatnot, a bunch of different party sizes. I love D3. And I'm also a big party play guy. You know, in PoE 2, we did all the party play stuff and, you know, all that. And dude, D4, we tried so hard to make like party play work in D4, but the game is literally designed very intentionally that it's not good. So like, for example, in normal games, it's like you have a debuff that says monsters take 20% more damage. In D4, there's vulnerable. So once someone applies vulnerable, you can't keep applying more vulnerable. And you find this in a lot of cases, like barb shouts only have half duration on teammates. And so there's a lot of stuff where the game is really designed to not enable party play to pop off, which I think is really unfortunate.
Yeah, and it's
Just
weird,
to chime
right?
in before,
Go ahead.
just to chime in 1 second. But the thing is, do you think, also to the next question, would you think that with the activities we have in season 10, more focus on Infernal Hordes, which clearly are better in a group play because you have, you share the keys, right? And the keys might be a little bit scarcer if there's no 10,000 Belial runs. And Undercity is also a thing, right? Where it's also better to run in the group. So
that's
technically the
highest value
game
of group play,
wants
yeah.
group play, but the things that make group play good are not good, right?
I agree with you.
Sorry, now go
100%.
ahead.
Yeah, like the resource sharing and stuff really pushes you towards group play, but then the way the game is designed and balanced, it pushes you away. Like even just having 100% mob health scaling, you know, not even getting into like balance and stuff, but just the fact that every player adds 100% health to mobs immediately starts to get in the way of group play. But yeah, I agree with
Rob
you.
wanted
Like,
to say something.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I feel like D3, like you pointed out, like D3, I think like really hits the perfect balance, the way it is right now. Like not the way it used to be like 10 seasons ago, but the way it is right now, you have a strong incentive to go solo self-found. There's like a solo self-found mode, there's solo self-found leaderboard, you get the follower, the mercenary, which is like really strong, gives you a lot of buffs if you're playing alone, a lot of rewards, but it also at the same time has a lot of group incentives where it's like really beneficial to group up and play with your friends and have some fun together. Even if you don't really know the meta, like you just like play together and it like feels good. In D4, like if you group, it usually feels worse, right? And it's very weird because it's like an open world game and like grouping is like not really that crazy on like obviously like for XP farming and stuff it's OP, but like for the high push, like, you just always do solo. Like for the challenging content, like group is not really a thing, let's say, in D4 in terms of efficiency. And I think it's like a really weird choice. I would really like to see like incentives to go both. Like there should be an incentive to play solo, like get some rewards and stuff. And there should also be like nice possible synergies to just play with your friends. Even if you just like don't follow meta, you just like casually group up and you play together, and it's still gonna like work or feel good, And that feeling is definitely missing. There's also like my all-time favorite build in D3 was the support ZDPS Barbarian, like basically like pulling together the monster, like exploring the map, having to make these like decisions in like split second, like when you spawn a pylon, when you block the pylon. There was like so many more strategic elements, especially to like the high content, which are completely missing, by the way, in the current pit system that we have, where like you just like, especially in a group, man, like okay, you clear the run, it works, and then you hit this boss. And it's just like a damage sponge. It's like this DPS check. Like you can't beat this boss in 120 in a 4-player group because he just has like trillions and trillions of HP. And there's no way with some sort of like gameplay element, like play differently, do like something that maybe requires a little bit of skill or game knowledge. None of that even exists, right? Where in D3, you have the Stricken, you can keep a pylon for the boss, you can even spawn it with a pack using Nemesis bracers, you can make use of area damage on the boss, and D4 has nothing of that. So yeah, I think it's like actually like a pretty big missed opportunity to have the game good for solo self-found and also to have the game good and some actual synergies in group play.
Well, there's this one funny thing where in Season 6, when Spiritborn launched, right? Rogue had this very fun support variant where you just equipped Umber Crocs, and it actually just increased the Spiritborn's damage by whatever multipliers Rogue could stack on top of himself. Yeah. So Rogue used like generic damage multipliers because they were bigger than the 20% that they would get from just having Spiritborn's damage echo from the totem. That was wild, but Spiritborn was already clearing 150, so it kind of wasn't a thing because, well, you couldn't go any faster than that anyway. Yeah,
I mean, I would definitely like to see a lot more group play. It's something that I have been promoting since the game launched, is just trying to get more people to run together. But like you said, like it's either your one character clears the entire room and everybody else is just following around, or you're off running one direction while somebody else runs a different direction, and then the other person runs a different direction to get a clear faster. So it would definitely be cool to see a whole bunch of like support come into the game, people who needed to work together, class synergy working together. It would definitely be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think would be the public sentiment? Let's say they made party play better with, like, let's say you could do a team comp, support, what do you think would be the public sentiment? Because in the past, I've seen people not like when Blizzard tries to maybe not force, but incentivize group play, because maybe they feel left out, or I don't know. What do you guys think would be the reception for something like that?
I think there needs to be incentive. There basically should be incentive to do both. Like I said, like Diablo 3 does it really well. There's big incentive to play solo, but there's also a lot of incentive to play in the group, and both feels rewarding. While in D4, it's more like group play is rewarding, but only if you're getting carried or something, right? It's like clipped is like you said, like one guy doing all the damage and you're just running behind feeling useless. That's not a good feeling. And we just want, like maybe the carrying needs to be nerfed a bit, like having the infinite XP range and stuff in the pits. Like maybe that's a bit much, and that needs to be maybe brought down a bit and balanced. And then at the same time, look at, the synergies that we have, maybe make the vertible stack, maybe make some, some more group synergies in general.
Mm. Yeah. I think it's a good point.
There's a common sentiment, like there's an idea that, if you let people play solo, they'll play solo. But if you want people to like really stick to a game and enjoy the game, you almost kind of make them play party. And a lot of people like complain about it, but oftentimes it like increases engagement. And like, even though people are vocal about it, they end up like the game ends up being more fun because you kind of have to party. But in general, there's a design philosophy in D3 that I very much agreed with, which was party play and group play should be similarly balanced, but party play should always be better. And so essentially what that means is you try not to let solo play get too far behind party play, but if one's going to be better, always pick party play to be more efficient. That way, like, you're never punished for playing with your friends.
I think the most important distinction to make there is if there's a solo self-found mode, for example, in the game, or however that would work, right? That would automatically give the people who want to play alone and don't want to feel negatively impacted by group play existing, have their mode where they can feel, experience the game on their own terms, in their own speed, without the interference of other people and everything. And then the people who want to play in the group they can just choose a regular mode. And if they don't really care about the downsides of not playing in a group, then it's also fine, right? But if they really care about it, just go into the SSF mode, would obviously also be a great thing for leaderboards, right?
Yeah. And in terms
it's
of like
another
public
topic.
perception, I think like you said, Sanctum, it's very important to do both of those things at the same time, ideally. Like have a separate option to maybe have a solo self-found in some kind of way, but then also like, give some more synergies to the group. And if you do both of that, like D3 did it after a lot of patches, after a lot of years of content, I think D3 has finally arrived at a sweet spot. And if we can get that sweet spot, like in one of the next patches at some point for Diablo 4, I think that would be ideal, where we get both solo incentives and group incentives.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I think that's the main thing that would revive leaderboards for sure. Like without SSF, I think leaderboards are pretty much always doomed in this game to be dominated by like RMT and whatnot.
I'm pretty curious to see what they do with leaderboards whenever they decide to introduce them.
Yeah. I mean, we
like
had the
if they do
Gauntlet,
official ones,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We had
they
the
could do official
Gauntlet.
ones, yeah.
Which
By
was
the way,
liked by some, not liked by many.
Yeah, but would the Gauntlet
I personally
leaderboards
enjoyed the
really
Gauntlet a
be
lot.
big difference if there was an SSF mode? Like, I mean, you had the solo ranking, you had the group ranking. Like, wouldn't really like matter that much if you have like a solo self-found for that Gauntlet, or if you have like a trade in the Gauntlet
okay.
for the solo leaderboard. It was not that crazy big a deal. But if it's like
I
challenging
think-
content instead of like speed-focused content, then
Yeah.
it's gonna be a big difference.
Yeah.
Look,
Yep.
for when the Gauntlet got introduced, it got introduced like a few weeks into the season. Everyone had time to farm up gear and prepare for it. Like,
Yeah.
I farmed basically the whole time to get like the perfect shrine duration maxed out amulet to play the Gauntlet. And
Forgot about that.
if that happened like Gauntlet released like immediately with the season and not being able to farm these items, RMT would straight up win, because shrine duration was like incredibly important in the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
And if you were missing like 2% on the shrine duration, that would mean that you potentially could not reach a boss in time to get the double point bonus, right? So RMT and the Gauntlet, if it hadn't been released in the middle of season, would have been insane. Like insanely dominant.
The other thing though is back then, if I remember correctly, this was before the loot rework, right? When Gauntlet came out, and because
it was
it was
pre-loot
much
rework.
easier to get like perfect gear before the gear rework. But once they added in GAs and stuff, perfect gear is way harder to get than it was back then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
by the way,
Right.
personally, what do you guys prefer more, party play or solo play? Like you personally.
I always play in groups. Every night I hop on, I just get groups going with people, and I just rotate through a whole bunch of groups. That's what I enjoy the most, and I've actually got convinced a lot of people that only play solo to hop into Discord, join up with everybody, and start running and playing together. They play longer, they enjoy it more. Even with the way that Diablo 4 functions as a group play right now, it still extends people's gameplay. It extends their seasons. They find like new reasons to keep on playing. So I do it all the time. And I actually am a pretty big advocate for it, even with the flaws that it has right now.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely agree. I think gaming and life in general is more fun together, like when you share it with other people. Like playing all by myself, it can be fun, but then I can also just play single player if I like. For me, like Diablo, especially with the open world content, it's always been a group game. I loved playing in a group. I also like playing solo from time to time. It depends on the day, but overall, if I'd have to choose, I'd always choose. It's an online game. We're on the internet. I would always engage with the community, play together with other people. Because like it's the internet age, we're connected, and I like it the most.
Yeah, I agree.
For me, like farming and stuff is way more fun in groups. Leveling, farming, prepping your character, all that stuff. But you know, when it comes to competitive content, I always prefer solo. But for everything else, group play is way more fun.
Yeah, I would agree. I think group play is great. I have my streaks where I feel like I don't want to play in groups. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, people just annoy me. I just want to play on my own, have a good time, you know. But then I guess that's something that everyone feels from time to time, right? But
That's never happened in our party. That's weird.
I guess it depends on the people. Right.
Yeah, that's happened for sure.
So if you guys have watched the Diablo 4 developer update video that they released just before the live stream, where it was Bloodshed interviewing like a few of the developers, it was like Charles Dunn, it was Aislinn, he also had Dan Tangway on the line. They were talking about a few things that were coming up in season 10 and season 10 beyond. Specifically, he was talking with Dan Tangway about like leaderboards and, as we mentioned right now, and potentially a loot filter. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you like to see if leaderboards were coming? And after we discuss a little bit about leaderboards, we can move on to talk about loot filter. What do you think is going to be coming? Is there something cool or yeah? So, Sanctum, you've been pushing leaderboards quite a bit, and the other guys as well. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm someone who grew up my whole life just playing competitive games, basically. I don't know why when I play like a single player game, let's say even a great one, it's like I play one day, I'm like, wow, this game's amazing. Then it comes the next day, and like, I don't even want to play anymore. You know, so it's just I like something about competition I really like, right? In online games and interaction. But the thing about, for example, pit pushing is it doesn't feel competitive to me. I don't feel like it's an actual competition. There's no real skill to it. I mean, there's some skill input, but for the most part, it's time invested, you know, into your character and time invested into finding the right pit. And for me, the most important part about a leaderboard is that essentially you have to feel like your skill, like you're something that's like intangible actually went into your placement, and not just, you know, like essentially an accounting of your time. That's basically all I want. I want a skill mode, and then I'm good. And then, you know, leaderboards.
So
amazing.
To that, by that metric, Gauntlet was pretty skill based. To be very fair, did you enjoy?
Yeah, but not in a fun way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, let me explain actually, because to me, well, this is a personal thing, right? I know a lot of people did find Gauntlet fun. Well, I don't know about it. I don't know if a lot, but some people did. To me, what I find fun in games, in let's say call them skilled games, is the second to second decision making, right? Like the split second decision making that separates people. You know, like it's a bit like developing intuition. And for me, Gauntlet was not so much about that and more about perfecting a route. You know, more like speed running. And I'm not
then executing it.
And then executing it. Yeah, exactly. Which is not my idea of fun, but I know some people love that. So.
Gauntlet felt a lot like Mario Kart Time Attack, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played like just a couple runs of the Gauntlet, and it just felt like you just needed to build a fast character and get shrines, and that was it. And I would, if we were going to do something, because I don't ever really push leaderboards all too much. I don't have quite as much time, so I never really make that push. But I think I would want something where my character feels like I'm using the character to do whatever that leaderboard push is. The skill is coming straight from my character. I'm not just building it around a shrine or a mechanic or something like that. I want my character to be the one that is going to be doing all of that pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point. Roos and Rob, what do you guys think?
I guess I'll go first. All I ever wanted D4 to be was D3 with more stuff. And specifically what I mean by that is G-Riffs. I love G-Riffs. I think G-Riffs are the most unique thing of any ARPG because there's no other ARPG, I think, that has captured like that competitive feeling that Sanctum's talking about in the same way D3 has. And all I wanted D4 to be was G-Riffs with more stuff to do outside of that. So, yeah, I hope, you know, whatever comes in the future and whatnot, just G-Riffs, man. I just want G-Riffs.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, to me, like, Gauntlet didn't really feel like a cool or fun challenge. Like, having this build around, like, you know, just a full, like, speed content. I'd much rather have, like, actually hard to complete content. And I think it's the biggest discrepancy that Diablo has at the moment, where you do any form of hard content in Diablo 4, it's never rewarding. Like, you go, like, I don't know, if you go from pit 100 to pit 110, it's completely pointless. Like, you're not getting anything else. You're getting way less XP per hour and all that stuff. It's like the game has it completely the wrong way. Like, all the incentives are doing like speed content, speed content, speed content. And all they focused around historically is just adding more speed content. Like, we have like the T4 stuff. It's like all like now we have this crazy power creep. And while I like that we don't have nerfs to the build, it's gonna like people are gonna run out of content even faster. I think it's gonna be like similar to a repeat of, I think it was season 7. When everybody just like instantly was in T4. I remember I was playing in a group and we had Vega. He one-shotted T4 Duriel after 4 hours into the season with Bloodwave Necro. Like, he literally just found the pants.
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
One-shot everything.
I remember that.
And,
we did the exact same
like
thing.
after 4 hours, you beat the hardest boss in the game. Back in the days, we didn't have Belial and stuff. So I think that's a huge problem, and this is also like in the XP meta, and this represents also in the gauntlet that we were talking about. I think the game is not that fun if it's only revolving around like doing low content that's not challenging to your character. Like the best way to farm XP is doing content where you one-shot every pack, every elite. Nothing can ever kill you. You one-shot everything. It's completely branded, and I really don't like it, the way it's going. I think the hard content needs to be rewarding, and I think leaderboards should be revolving around hard content and not who can, like, I don't know, speed farm a pit 69 in 50 or 40 seconds. Like, I think it's stupid. It's also what ended up a problem in D3 because they had this, like, number cap of Greater Rift 150. I really enjoyed the early days of D3 where you actually had to push, you know, for harder and harder rifts to complete. You'd be unlocking tiers and stuff rather than just doing a pit 150 and one shot like every pack or something, or every 12 seconds you one shot the entire screen. And then it just comes down to, are you going to do the run in 60 seconds or are you going to do 55, 150? Like,
I actually like that, to be fair. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm very
like
different
if
there.
the
Like, you know,
if the
like-
difficulty is, you know, if the difficulty is capped at some point and you don't have 15 minutes slogfest. I just like blasting through things in 2 minutes. That's just my Zoomer brain.
You could argue about, like, does it really need to be a 15 minutes timer? Or is it better to do, like, I think early pits had like 10 minutes timer, for example.
Yeah,
I
and
prefer,
AOZ
like,
was
something
also
like around, like,
shorter.
maybe 5 to
Gauntlet
10
was
minutes.
8 minutes.
I think 15
Gauntlet was
too
8
long.
minutes.
I've always felt that way.
AOZ
Yeah,
was
that's fine.
shorter.
The gauntlet is 8 minutes is not the problem, but the gauntlet was like T4 content. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Because we have builds that outscale this like 100x.
To be fair, if we had pits that were like 8
I-
minutes or 10 minutes, it would be way different because it
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
be
would like
so
that
much
way
time
more.
spent on the boss, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the boss is another
well.
huge problem that I talked
Yeah.
about earlier. Like, it's no strategic. Like,
Dude, what?
I think somebody
You
said
do the whole
earlier, like,
run. You get
Go ahead.
you get to the boss. It's the wrong boss. Oh, runs over, guys.
Yeah,
Restart.
Yep,
Yeah,
reset.
they got a
7
balance
minutes
on
down
that.
the drain.
That's what they do. I mean, this was the same problem in D3 with some bosses,
Yeah.
but in D4 it's particularly bad because for some
but-
builds they have horrible single target. It's like 5 minutes for the
It's-
run, 10 minutes for the boss. Yeah, good luck.
It's
But, like-
interesting because in D3,
Yeah.
like boss mattered, but there was a lot more doable bosses with like if a build needed a certain boss, it was a very specific build that would
Yeah.
need it. But it feels like
Yeah.
in D4, it's like every build is fishing for something.
Yeah, you had all these strategic elements like in D3, like
Yeah, that's
keeping
true
the
too, like you're
pylon
saying.
or like, you know, like adding some monsters from the environment. There was like a lot of stuff as positioning the boss in a certain spot, like a narrow corridor or something for your skills to trigger. Like in D4, everything is static. You have this like one boss area, you can't do anything about it. You have this like random boss that has like trillions and trillions of HP, and yeah, I think it's a huge problem.
And I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
Rob is spitting here, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, he
I'm
is.
passionate
He
about
is.
this, man. Like, I've been complaining
Since
about
like
this for 2
season
years.
1,
Yeah, but
my biggest
that's
complaint since the game launched is the same one as Rob's. I feel like the reward difficulty scaling is off in this game, and it's actually gotten progressively worse, not better. And that's the number one problem for a gamer like me with the game.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like
like
right
we
now,
have this. Go ahead.
right now everyone is like very hyped about the power level of the season, but think about what it's going to be in 2 weeks from now. People
Yep.
are going to like clear T4, like even casual, the more casual player, it's going to probably take them like 2 or 3 days to unlock T4, while normally in previous seasons it's probably going to be like a week. And they're going to run
What's
out of
crazy,
content so
too,
fast.
In the past, they've tried like a few things. Like, do you guys remember? It only was around for 1 or 2 seasons where they added like the uber pinnacle versions of bosses.
That was great.
Of the final. And yeah, and they were supposed to be like hard, and they said like you're only supposed to kill these if you're like a Giga Chad blaster. And then like the next season they nerfed the health. And
Yeah,
then
what
they nerfed
happened
the
to
health again,
T4
and then
being
they removed them.
aspirational? Like that like every
Yeah.
build is just going to one-shot everything on T4.
Wait, you guys remember Release Lilith? That was fun, dude.
Yeah.
Release Lilith was insanely good. Honestly, we need more of that in the game, in my opinion. I think a lot of casuals disagree with that because, you know, it's hard. But to that, I think right now with the difficulty scaling mentioned, we have T4, which is pit 60, right? And then we have tier 100 where you max out your glyphs, and there's like this huge gap between like the things to do in the game. And I think that is one of the issues why the balancing obviously is focused around, okay, we want builds to kind of get their glyphs to 100,
And,
right?
like,
That's
and to
probably
that
the
point,
directive for the devs.
It feels
right?
like since they did that, the balance has shifted to where they want the floor to be pit 100 almost. It feels like where like a
With the
C-tier
changes we've
build
seen,
is
yeah.
supposed to be able to do a pit 100, which makes
Yeah.
like you said, it makes T4 like so far below what
Yeah.
like even a C tier build can do. Like,
And
Yeah.
to me, this might be a bit of a hot take. I also don't like that the glyphs are kept at 100. Like, especially you have this power creep, because there's just no reward whatsoever to do 101. Like, it's completely like a completely waste of time to do 101 unless you really like, I don't know, enjoy challenging your character, which some people do, but there's no point and there's no reward. And like, if there's no reward in playing the game, like what's the reason that I even challenge myself, you know?
Dude, that feeling in D3 when you get a new PB and you get like new highest pick clear you've ever done in D3, and then you go upgrade your glyph and it's like, that's just 2% more damage I have forever. Like
exactly, and even like the small things, like, you know, getting that pop-up, boom, or you just done this leaderboard clear, congratulations, you're ranked this and that, and then you also get a really good permanent reward to your character. So I don't even like, I would uncap the glyphs, like just let it go to 150, and then like we can do like 110 and do like 1% or something. Like, at least give us something to do. Like, at least it's like very minor. It's like 0.3% damage or something on each glyph, right? And even if a casual has a 110 glyph and maybe you have 120 glyph, like that's not even a pitier difference. It's less than a pitier difference anyways.
I think the weird thing for that is pit is capped at 150, but glyphs are capped at 100. That makes no sense to me, right? Like, either cap both at 100 or both at 150. Because otherwise, all the pit tiers above 100 are basically meaningless, especially because there's no reward to doing it. You don't get more XP for clearing them. There's no leaderboard for doing it. You don't get more loot for doing them. There's like absolutely nothing, really. And that's just... Well, I'm personally against uncapping glyphs entirely, or like uncapping pits entirely. That is something we shouldn't do, and we probably also shouldn't uncap Paragon, because else we end up in a D3 situation again, where, you know, you're like, I need to go to the store, but man, I need Paragon levels. I can't log out right now. You know, where you just keep chasing the carrot of the +5 main stat. I think that's unhealthy for the game, and I don't want to see it, to be very honest.
They did, by the way. Is it still capped in D3, or did they remove the cap? Because there was a couple seasons where they capped Paragon at 800. I don't know if that's still a thing or if they reverted that. It's just the one season? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you still play D3 seasons, Rob?
Not the recent one, but I think I played like 2 seasons ago. It's still pretty fun. Like, the game is they left it in a really good state. Like, obviously, like when it launched, it has problems and stuff, just like D4, right? But you know, they kept on cooking on it, and I think they really came up with something extremely good in the end. Like right now, playing D3 for like a week or for a weekend, like that's extremely fun.
Yeah, I'd have to play the next season. It's been a while since I've played one.
Yeah, the +5 chase, man. Waking up in the middle of the night, losing sleep.
That part sucks. When the bots, especially when the guy that you're competing with for rank 1 has like literally every hour the game's been out, and it's been out for 2 weeks, and he hasn't missed a single hour of playtime, and you're like, God damn it.
I do have to say, it was quite fun to play the game and then like have like Rob's stream open and be like, he's like one level ahead of me. I gotta pick up the pace, you know? Gotta smack it a little harder and stuff.
For D3 or D4, you mean?
D3, honestly. But
great
honestly,
days,
it's just unhealthy.
I miss those times, man. Good times.
But I do miss them too. But let's be honest, it's unhealthy. Honestly, like uncapped Paragon just promotes very unhealthy playing behavior.
No, I'm like uncapped. I'm happy that there is a cap in D3 in D4. Sorry. And I think it should stay that way. I'm just not really like a fan of the Paragon board cap, but like Paragon in general needs
7
to be
boards
kept.
again if you want to.
They removed there was so much theory crafting that was removed from the game when they put in the Paragon
it's just
board
stupid
cap.
because like when you're like 240, like all your points don't really matter anymore, and I think that's bad.
Like you can path a different way and save 2 points, but like
it doesn't matter. Like Paragon boards is like whatever in this game right now. I think the system needs a rework at some point.
Yeah,
I do remember at some point on Rogue we were picking up an 8th board, but not for a legendary node, but just for one of the rare nodes, like spring loaded for poison trap. We picked it up as an 8th board just to get that. That was so good, honestly.
To be honest, though, I never liked Paragon board optimization. I always found it like too nitty gritty and kind of cringe. But I liked it more the way it was.
Yeah, now that it's gone, like I miss it because like every board is just like it doesn't really matter which Paragon board you do, you know.
I actually really love doing Paragon boards, just sitting down and just spinning and counting, and I don't know, it was just very fun for me.
Yeah, if you cap yourself to like 200 Paragons or something, it gets really interesting. Like when we were on the PTR, like just shouting out the 200 Paragon, I was like, oh man, I really have to think about where I put those points, man. But like in the live game, it's super whatever.
Yeah, when you get, this is a big problem with Necro's passive tree as well. Like when you can get everything you want and there's no decision to make.
Exactly.
Necro's passive tree is
Yeah.
worked the same
That's
way
exactly
for so
the
long.
problem I have with the board. Like, there's no decision to make. It's brain dead. And
Yeah.
also, I feel like they're dumping down the game a lot. Like a good example is Barbarian Clips. Like what they did with Barb, you used to have to scale your key passives. You had Blood Rage, you had to scale it with damage of Berserking. Then you had the Hemorrhage, you needed to scale it with your vulnerable damage. And then you had some, I think the Earthquake one where you had to scale it with your close damage. And there was like this game that you have to play to kind of like, min-max like all the Paragon nodes. And then it was also very good because you had a progression, right? Nowadays, you click Blood Rage, or even across all classes, you click the Paragon node and you instantly have a 50x multiplier. Back in the days, you clicked it when you were level 10, you clicked it and you got a 10x multiplier. And then as you progressed, you got more damage to Berserking or more vulnerable damage to scale this node even more as your character progresses. And I think they completely made it like brain dead, where you just click the board, you get 50% X, don't have to think about it. I really liked it a lot more when this was like, a journey to get the maximum bonus. And I think it's a really bad direction that part of the game is going.
No, I really liked when you actually had to make a decision on what you wanted to temper, what you wanted to put on as an affix, like because you needed to hit these caps, but it wasn't easy to do until you had progressed through the game. So I definitely agree. Like it was nice having something on your gear that felt meaningful, and now you just put critical strike damage on and call it a day.
Boring.
One of the great shames, I think, so there used to be the way that one of our Paragon nodes used to work, we would stack as much intelligence as possible. And that was like a weird thing to look at, because that was back when you would always run HP gems in your gear. And so you'd be running intelligence gems in your gear, and then that would like change how you'd have to like build your character, because now you're way less tanky than you normally would be. And those kind of things like really shifted. Like when you start trying to get the most int you can, you start to like all parts of your character start to move and shift, and you start to have to balance things more. But then then they put it like a cap. Oh, like you can only stack this to 1800 intelligence, and then like all of that is just gone. Like
Yeah, that's it's a little bit unfortunate that we don't have that in the game anymore. It would be kind of cool to open up Paragon theory crafting a little bit more. I think now that the nodes are buffed, it might be a little bit of an issue, because if it's 8, let's say you could use 7 boards or 8 boards, and the nodes are like 50% X each, then it kind of becomes kind of a thing where you just path through the board and just pick up all the legendary nodes, which would be a little bit unfortunate, but I still think there would be some choice if it was like maybe one additional board. Like, then if it's one additional board, you kind of can't pick all the nodes anymore, right? You would have some choices. Okay, maybe I don't pick up the max life. Maybe I don't pick up the whatever it is, like attack speed or something, and instead get this new legendary node that I can take now, or like another glyph or something. Would be cool.
I mean, I'll take the Paragon board. I'll take the Paragon boards and system the way it was in season 2 any day over what it is right now.
Yep.
I think it's going in the wrong direction. This is my opinion. I think it's not going in a good direction of the Paragon system. It's getting more and more universal. Like you don't have to think about really what you take, and it's all the same thing.
To be fair to the devs, it is easier to balance, right? When you had
Of course, it's easier to balance, but like the real problem is the balance.
That feels a bit lazy, It's like
it's a very lazy solution.
Good devs, yeah, it's a bit lazy solution. That's the problem.
I remember like before VOH came out, you guys remember like all like there's like those leaks and like all this low key stuff, like, oh, there's a Paragon rework, there's like whispers of this. I was so hyped for that when we saw it, and I was like, that's okay. Like when they like first put the cap on, it's like
yeah. Now we'll see where it's gonna go.
Yeah, it seems like there's some winds of change, but we'll see what happens. But there's definitely some indicators that things might be changing, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting for sure. So we had the mention about Paragon boards. We talked about leaderboards. Loot filter was something that was mentioned. Just a quick thinking: do you guys think loot filter is necessary? Also, chat, do you think we need loot filter? And
don't ask Bruce this, please.
I hate loot filters.
You hate loot filters? Okay.
I think they can work if they're implemented in game through like the game's UI and are easy to do, easy to manipulate, easy to mess with. But in general, like the way that a lot of a lot of games I've really been talking about Path of Exile, where you have to go to like third-party tools and the tools aren't not up to date and it's broken and it's missing this item and oh it bugged and now like I wasn't looting my Akora's locks the whole time. I hate loot filters. They drive me nuts. I much prefer less better loot rather than loot filters.
I always say it like in the past, like for me, like you have the option of a loot filter. Like obviously, like you can play the game the way it is right now, or you just go into the options in game and there's one button that just says it's a checkbox, automatically salvage non-ancestral gear. Like that would fix it all for me already.
That
like
would
in
fix
the
it all.
current state. Obviously, if we had like, a customizable in-game filter, maybe similar to Last Epoch, how they do it, like if that's a thing, obviously, like nobody would have anything against having that on top of what we have right now, right? It doesn't replace anything. It's completely opt-in, optional. So even if you don't like loot filters, like you don't have to play with a loot filter, right? Like, I like that the game is not as showering you as crazy with loot as PoE does. I mean, like running in an Abyss map or running like, I don't know, a multi-breach map and you hide your loot filter for a second. So I completely see where you're coming from. Like, that's also bad.
Yeah.
But, Diablo is not like that right now. And having a loot filter on top of what we have right now, I mean, yeah, of course, that'd be an easy W.
In that regard, I think it's important to distinguish that, like, the moment the game becomes unplayable, well, a loot filter is problematic. As you said, like, playing the game PoE2, let's say you're a casual, right? And you don't care about loot filters, you just want to play the game, blast some maps, right? And then there's like 500 items on the screen, and you pick up all of them, and then every like 3 monsters you have to port to town and like salvage your items and do these things. That just doesn't work. And it honestly is kind of the same in Last Epoch. Like the game is pretty much unplayable without the loot filter if you enter corruption, right? Because there's so much stuff dropping, and getting to the point where the loot filter is so good, so well defined, that if something drops, it's definitely going to be good. That is very tedious, and it's super, super difficult to generalize that, because what you want as a loot filter might not be the same thing that a different person playing the same build wants, because maybe they have other needs. Maybe their pieces of gear are already done or locked in, or they need certain uniques that you already have, and all these kind of things makes it super, super difficult to have like a cohesive loot filter system. And I think if D4 tackles that issue, they need to be very smart about it.
Yeah, I agree. I played a little bit of Last Epoch, and I was playing the game, and eventually I was like, man, there's a ton of loot. Like I'm spending so much time just managing the loot. Then I turned on a loot filter and I put it on, and somebody helped, was like, 'cause I was brand new to the game, so someone was like, oh, hey, set up these. And then every single piece of gear that dropped, I knew was something I needed, and then I stopped playing the game. Because like there was no chase.
Yeah,
that was it. I knew that was a piece of gear that I needed. So I'm just, I don't know. It just killed it for me. So there's got to be a good balance between like you still know that something might be good, but maybe not, and you're still chasing something. It's not just completely overriding all of it.
Yep, that's a good point. So one thing we didn't pick up on when we talked about classes, right? We talked about strongest builds, strongest classes. But we forgot to talk about fun builds and fun classes. Like, first of all, what do you guys want to start the season with? Like, what's your go-to leveling build that you want to play? And then, what do you think is going to be the most fun build of all the classes? Let's take it away with Ruse here.
Well, I think objectively, when you look at the numbers, you look at the data, Necromancer is the coolest class with the most interesting builds. And I don't think anyone here would dispute that. But
I love the energy.
But so for starter builds for Necro, so it's going to be like a Sever Minion build, as it has been for the last 8 or 9 seasons. So you're going to start with like a Sever Minion hybrid, and then you're going to transition that into Affliction. Affliction is like completely busted early endgame. Then after Affliction, you have like 2 main options. So you either go from the Affliction build into a Shadowblight build, which is going to be Necromancer's best pick pushing build. It's going to be like probably one of the stronger builds in the whole game. Or you can transition into Minions. Which minions are going to be really cool this season. And in particular, I'm excited about minions for Infernal Hordes, because I'm going to design a build that's like tanky enough that, I can alt tab, play a little PoE, maybe I'll go make a sandwich or whatever, and I'll just let the minions clear the way. So I'm excited for that.
I love it. That's awesome.
So yeah, a lot of cool stuff for Necro.
All right, flip this. What do you think?
Definitely going to be starting Lunging Strike with a little bit of Whirlwind mix in and Quakes. As soon as I find the 2 runes I need, then it's pretty much Quakes all the way up into the Torment tiers. And I then am going to transition into straight Lunging Strike once I get all the uniques, because it's going to be hitting pretty hard. I had a really fun build with 3 basic skills, and it works on resetting cooldowns of your basic skills, so I'm pretty excited to see how it works. I saw the variant that has Whirlwind in it, which looks pretty cool too. And then after that, for farming the Infernal Hordes, definitely going to be going the auto cast Dust Devil build, because you can cast just an insane amount of Dust Devils, and you can just stand there if you really want to. Same thing. So we're going to be doing that, and then we're going to be doing some big bonks with Hoda. I'm pretty excited. So
Hell yeah.
Rupture, I think, might be pretty insane. We had it up to almost 100 trillion damage on the PTR. So we'll see what comes out of this, and I don't know where it's going to end up. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hell yeah! I mean, I really like to see Rupture, but the single target was not solvable for me. Like I did 110, 5 minutes for the run, but you can't kill the boss, man. He's so stupid.
Yeah, the single target was definitely tough.
So yeah, for me, I really don't know yet, man. There's so many cool builds. Like I said earlier, it's for me either Spiritborn. Obviously, Spiritborn is insane. I think the most fun build is going to be the ape. Like anything with the ape. I really miss like crushing hands, payback, whatever. Like the gorilla is going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to test that. Then Ball Lightning Sorcerer, I love the build in Season 2. It's making a comeback, and you can even play the Super Ball Lightning Shotgun. I think most people are going to enjoy that. I think that might be the most popular build of the season. Just Ball Lightning Shotgun Sword. I was so sure they're going to nerf it on the PTR, that after the PTR, that I didn't keep playing it. I didn't even record more footage, because I was like, there's no way that this is going to survive. They're going to nerf this adaptive stance power, for sure. And they didn't. They even buffed Mana Shield. So, yeah, here we go. Sorcerer is going to look pretty insane. And then also there is a Druid. But since Druid is for me, you have the Raven, okay? But I'm not really the big summon guy. So, yeah. Ball Lightning Sorc or Ape Spiritborn. I don't know yet.
Sounds good. What do you think, Sanctum?
Well, I'm gonna play Druid. I want to. If I was gonna come back to Druid one season, it's this season. Rogue. I mean, in my opinion, Rogue is actually, apart from pit pushing, it's actually an S tier class, right? DOK starter is amazing, Death Trap for farming and DOK both are amazing, but I've been playing them for 5 seasons, and Druid's kind of good, so we swapped, and I'm gonna level Shred. It's pretty speedy, but like Rogue, and then we're gonna do Boulder. Well, I'll do Shred a bit into the end game, and then when I get Boulder online, I'm gonna go Boulder, and the plan's to basically. Because now, back when I played a Druid, to start Boulder, you had to stand still to cast Boulder. So what people would do is they would do Shred with Nature's Fury and Savagery, I think it is, so that your Shred could cast Boulders, right? But now you can just Boulder while you move, so you can do the Shred thing for free. And the Boulders last 10 seconds, You Boulder and you just shred around at the speed of light. Well, maybe not the speed of light, but pretty fast. And should be quite strong. Maybe do some pit pushing, and then honestly, just the plan is to try out all the Druid builds, because I haven't played Druid in so long. That's it, basically it.
Yeah, that sounds great, honestly. Yeah, to the surprise of absolutely no one, I am going to be starting Rogue. Dance of Knives. It's a pretty good leveling build, one of the fastest leveling builds in the game. But this time, we maybe don't have to, abandon ship and jump into whatever builds next, because we do have a good path into the end game with Dance of Knives and Poison Trap. I think Dance of Knives plus Poison Trap, spinning around and shooting out the negas that the spawn Poison Traps, that sounds pretty good. It's gonna be a fun build. That's gonna be pretty cool. So if you guys are looking for some fun build to play, which is also going to be strong enough to get you to T100 and above, Dance of Knives plus Poison Trap is going to be the thing. And if you're gonna go really fast, then you're gonna go with Death Trap. That's definitely a good way to play. So I think it's cool to see that all classes kind of have a cool thing going for it, right? That always makes me happy if I see all the classes have something where we can safely say, hey, this is fun to play. We can recommend this to people. If you guys like Sword, play this. If you guys play Rogue, play this. If you guys like Bard, play this. It's kind of cool, and I enjoy seeing that the diversity in the game, because if you let's say pit pushing was not in the game, right? So many builds would be great to play in T4, because there's a lot of amazing builds. Obviously, some are more niche than others. Like some don't have the AoE to be like really good D4 and stuff. But yeah, it's just kind of cool to see. It's interesting to see to me that technically there's a lot of variety, but it's being like choke holded or gate capped by pit pushing essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it is for you guys, but something that I hate with my relationship with this game is that I hate pit pushing. Like the actual act of pit pushing, I hate it. But at the same time, it's one of the only things that keeps me playing, like during a season. It's just like,
Yeah, it's
like
it gets
it's
tough.
basically
it's tough, man.
yeah, it's basically just say like you enjoy the competition, right? But actually competing is what you don't
Oh,
enjoy
it's-
because
it's
the
horrible.
act of
It's horrible.
competing in D4 is just not fun.
Yeah.
Like 15
Yeah.
minutes, you spend 30 seconds per lead pack just wailing at the pack, not dodging anything because you don't care whatever they throw at you, right? You just like, play your piano build, like put on the caltrops, put on smoke grenade, put on the poison trap, and then press whatever core skill flavor you have chosen, right? And then you just move to the next pack, and then after 7 minutes, the boss spawns, and if it's Mother's Judgment, you just add a 4 and uninstall the game, and then it's fine, right?
Yeah. I think most people actually feel like that. Like, even if you're like a very frequent pit pusher, like you push the pit a lot, like the act of pit pushing, like I just don't think people really enjoy that. So yeah, it's definitely like a problem in the game, and I think it needs to be more rewarding and more fast paced to be fixed. So I'm really excited to see what this potential leaderboard system is going to be, and hopefully that's going to solve the issue somehow and make it like more tactically, like strategically, like the way it was in D3.
Yeah, that would be great, honestly.
Yeah, if they bring G-Riffs, I'll be hooked once again, fall back in love with the game like if we were at launch.
Man,
But-
I even enjoyed AOZ a lot more than the pits. Like, they always say, like, okay, AOZ was like
Yeah, I
our test
love
on pits.
AOZ.
Like, it's the same on the Paragon boards, man. Season 2 AOZ is better than the pits. Like, that's my opinion. Like, it was like way better, especially the boss. Because
AOZ?
instead of the boss, you had this, like, for those of you that for the viewers
elite.
that don't remember, you had this, like, 3 Bloodseekers. You know how in the Helltide you get the
Yeah.
Bloodseeker when you get, like, the full... the full aggro, like the red bar, you get this Bloodseeker. There was like 3 of those bosses instead of like one, unkillable big damage sponge boss that you fight in a specific area. You could actually strategically decide, okay, where do I want to spawn the Bloodseekers to fight them? They were actually dangerous and they weren't just damage sponges.
Yeah, I remember in AOZ when there was a competition going, and most rogue builds on AOZ actually chose to separate the Bloodseekers. And then we had this funny
Strategic
interaction
element right
where,
there.
yeah, where I had this funny element where like I got the highest clear at the time, and then Woody was reviewing my video, and he was like saying, "Dude, is he taking all 3 Bloodseekers at once? What?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's dangerous. You have to dodge every single thing, but it's actually best to do that back then." And so there was a lot of strategic element involved, and like there was like even some crazy shit, some Koreans respecking their pen shot builds in the run
Oh,
to
yeah.
rapid fire
Yeah, okay,
to
okay.
actually kill the Bloodseekers. Okay, that's maybe a little bit too much, and I'm
Yeah,
glad we are gear and skill locked. But it was interesting. It was
was
interesting to see. There was
shocking.
tech behind it. There was strategy. There was cool things, right?
And
Obviously,
also, there
AOZ
was a
glyph,
reward
AOZ
because
glyph
you
was
had
another problem,
yeah,
right?
you had a gem.
But yeah.
I mean, obviously that gem was maybe a bit too powerful, but like
Yeah, it was too
bringing back the
powerful, but
Tears of Blood in like a, I don't know, damage divided by 10 version or something, and having it like, what was it, like 200 glyph levels or something, or like some crazy number, like it was like
Yeah, something like
ridiculous
that.
like XP. That would also give you an incentive to do pits after you're done with your glyphs to level 100, which this season people are going to finish in like a couple days. Maybe even
feel like
the second day.
I feel like part of why they thought AOZ was such a failure was because they released it, like, if I remember correctly, it was like 6
Mid-season.
or 8 weeks into a season.
Yeah.
It was
And so by
in the middle of the
by the
season.
time it came out, everyone was already gone, and so like some people did come back, but like the majority of the audience was not coming back for AOZ.
It was only the blasters left, right? That we were like playing anyway.
Yeah. And for a casual player, it was really harsh. So AOZ
was too hard.
itself was good,
Yeah.
but like level 1 AOZ was basically impossible for 90% of the players already. So
Especially because you only had one try, and the barrier of entry by crafting the sigil was so high.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
actually having to farm sigil dust to properly craft it was really expensive, and then only being able to have 1 life was crazy.
it's still my all-time top season. I mean, even today, like tomorrow, like okay, season 10 is gonna be fun, but if season 2 would release tomorrow, I probably enjoy that more. So
Yeah, me too.
I'm not
I
saying
agree.
like I'm not gonna enjoy the season, but season 2 was awesome.
Season 2
Yeah,
was
yeah.
probably
You know,
the best season we had so
yeah,
far.
That
season
season
one
was
was great,
actually that season was spoiled for me because I remember I did over 2,000. What was it back then? Durials for
Durials, yeah.
Starless, and I didn't get Starless, and I was like, I'm out, dude. I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't play
Because there
this.
was no bad
I'm
luck
out.
protection in the form of crafting. I remember
And then
that.
people would come in my party, like friends, to do it with me, and they would get the Starless. Ava got the Starless and the Shaco, and like 5 kills, dude.
I remember
Oh,
that season, I
Everybody
had
can
like
remember.
all the mythic uniques at 100 kills, and then you did like 2,000.
Crazy,
Oh,
man.
bro.
What? That's a
It was
streamer
so
story right
bad,
there.
dude.
So,
the
so there was
My streamer life,
actually
dude.
so there was actually a question in chat asking about hardcore. Do you guys have any thoughts about hardcore, or what do you think is hardcore going to be like for season 10? I think none of you actually play hardcore, myself included. But you know,
I was a hardcore main in D3. If I didn't do
Okay.
YouTube, I would 100% be a hardcore player in all
That's
these
a good
games.
point.
But YouTube and MOBA guys kind of have to play softcore. But if I wasn't, I'd 100% be a hardcore player. Hardcore is so much interesting.
I think hardcore makes it a little bit too hard to get like all the gear to showcase and progress your character quickly enough to be able to pump the video content and stuff.
No, you can't.
But like,
you can't do both.
If let's say you were playing SSF, would you play hardcore again?
Oh yeah, like if YouTube and
Okay.
everything wasn't a factor, 100% I'd play hardcore.
That's kind of cool.
I played a hardcore character this season for the first time in a couple seasons. I've
Oh,
had all
okay.
my renown done already, but except for Nahantu, I didn't have that done. But I got on, and this is just my own personal preference. I got about 4 or 5 days in. I was in Torment 4. I was killing everything. I still had some 750 pieces of gear on, and I was like, I'm done. Like, it's too slow. I'm gonna go fight Lilith, and I fought Lilith on Torment 1, and then Torment 2, and then Torment 3, and then I finally died. And it was my glorious way of like
cool.
ending my character.
That's kind of
just
cool though.
Personally, it was just too slow for me because I just want to smash my character up against a wall of monsters, and if I die, and then I just restart and I go again because like I just like blasting like that.
Yeah, I'm the same like that for sure. Like I like hardcore like as an event or something. Like maybe like one stream we make a hardcore character, see how far it's gonna go. But for long term, like in video games, man, I love that you can try again. It's not like in real life.
Yeah.
Like, if you die, you're dead. But in a video game, man, you die or you get to try again. Isn't that awesome? So I would not like my main will always be softcore. I just like it more like the fast plays, high risk like plays. I like to focus on DPS and just playing like very defensively and like very slow paced. It's just not my type of like gameplay.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Like in softcore, you have the option to build your character with minimal defense in mind, trying to squeeze out every single last bit of DPS you can. That's kind of cool.
It's funny. I've always built my softcore characters as if they were hardcore. I don't actually like dying. I used to play hardcore, but then I stopped in other games. But I actually don't like dying, so I end up always building my characters as if they were hardcore. Nowadays, so it doesn't really matter. You're never really in danger, so it's like it's whatever. But back in like season 1, 2, remember you would make like a much squishier and more like cutting edge. Let's say more risky version of Rogue, and I would make the tankier version.
Like people were actually asking for the differences between our rogue builds, right? And then people were like, "Yeah, if you want to go tanky, go with Sanctums. If you want more DPS, go with Mippy."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say.
It's actually interesting. Not to say that. It's kind of cool.
That's kind of gone now.
I think hardcore can be too punishing for sure. Like but I do enjoy like more mid-core style. Where you lose like some progression, you lose like access to like some resources, stuff like that. I really
like
just
the
like
game which shouldn't be named.
Like the game that shouldn't be named. I think that's a pretty good mid-core. But I think in D4, like in soft core, there's just absolutely no punishment for death. I really don't like it. And it's also like too hard to die. So I would, if there's more punishment for death, I would like it more.
Yeah, I mean, I get the question a lot. Like, will this build work in hardcore? And I took my softcore build, and all I did was just use the exact same build in hardcore. And I was within, I think, 2 days, I was running through Torment 4, just farming. I even had 750 pieces of gear on. Like I wasn't afraid of dying. I was just like, we're gonna see what we can do with this character. And I'm sure there were during the leveling process a couple different decisions that I made on what I was taking when, but it wasn't huge. And I used the same build. So I don't know. I'm not too sure what the real differences are, but it was a little bit slow for me. But I mean, D2 you had experience loss when you died, so
it's a very classic feature of RPGs in general. Like even back then, like Sacred and Titan Quest had the feature. So it's kind of novel that D3 doesn't have it. D3 didn't have it anymore, and that D4 also doesn't have it.
I think it's kind of
So,
controversial.
it's-
Like a lot of people like it that there's a penalty, and a
controversial,
lot
yeah.
of people hate it. Like especially like more casual audience. Oh, I die, I
Yeah.
lose XP, man. Oh my god, what
Yeah,
the-
it's a very polarizing feature. and,
Yeah, I
you know,
like
it
like
can be
more
super
risk, more
punishing.
reward kind of playstyle. So for me, it would be fine if it's like a small penalty, or like PoE does it. Like you have like ways to mitigate it, right? You lose 10%, but if you have Omen, you only lose 2.5 or something, right? Like something like this, I could see, or like maybe just for the last levels, like you don't really need to have it until Paragon 100 or something, and then maybe there's a small penalty of dying or something. But yeah, to me, like just hardcore is too slow paced. Like I want to play fast, man.
It's a very low impact feature, to be fair. Like even if it's in the game, it doesn't really change the game too much unless it's like very punishing. But if it's like slightly punishing, would you really go a little bit more tanky if you lose some XP? Maybe a little bit, right? Like in PoE, the prospect of dying, especially if you're like 97 or something, you really don't want to die, even if it's only 2.5%.
It's very hard to
I
hit
think you
level
play a
100
bit
and-
different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just hard to hit level 100 in PoE without having like a genuinely good character that has like good balance between offense and defense. Whereas in D4 you just go full offense and send it. But it's fine. Yeah, different game.
Yep. Sure thing. All right. So to start slowly wrapping it up, because we said it's going to be 1.5 hours. We've been going for 2 now, which is kind of fine. I want to have like every one of you like have one thing what excites them the most. That's going to be like the thing that's coming in season 10, and what is the thing that you're most excited about beyond that, or what you wish for that's going to be coming in D4?
Okay. So for me, it's definitely build diversity. I think we never had a season where we had so many like S tier builds, viable builds. Like you can do, like basically with any build, you can experience a complete new build, a complete playstyle. It doesn't really matter what class you choose. Obviously, there are some classes that are slightly better still. But in the end, guys, you just want to have some fun clearing like Tournament 4 content. It doesn't really matter to most people if you do Pit 100 or you do Pit 110. It's the same thing, feels the same. You just want to have like a smooth experience like throughout the board, like grinding through there. I think that's going to be the most fun for me, and I highly encourage everybody that's watching as well to just try different characters. You don't have to like just play one character and then you beat the content and I'm gonna quit or something. Like it's always good chance to like just play another character, see how that feels. Maybe a character or a class you've never played before, and just try that. There's many awesome builds, and I also think a lot of synergies, especially with the generic Chaos armors. Like you get a lot of stuff for a second character with your main character. So the build diversity is, I think, what has me excited the most. And then also seeing, like, you have at least a bit more of a progression curve, because those Chaos uniques, as they're not tradable, they're going to be really hard to get, right? And it's going to take at least a significant amount of time to, like, fully min-max your character, while normally this is done much faster. So that has me, like, really excited, I think, for the long term of the game. Obviously, like, going beyond this season, those Chaos uniques are going to be removed again. And yeah, then we'll see what they will be cooking up for the next season. But hopefully we get to hear some expansion possible news soon, like maybe around the Christmas time or something. So definitely most excited about that. Soon TM, I hope.
Soon TM, my friends. Yeah, great insight for sure. I think most importantly for people to remember that the armory feature is actually quite good. If you want to test multiple builds on a class, I've used it quite a lot actually. There's a little bit of unfortunate things going with it, like not changing chaos perks, so you have to do that manually. But overall, it's a good addition, and some people could just keep. I see people keeping forgetting that armory exists, honestly. So yeah,
I see that a lot too. People just make other characters of the same one when they only have one build.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, why are you calling me out? I keep forgetting to use it sometimes.
Yeah, right. Cliptus, what do you think about what excites you?
I mean, I'm definitely just gonna like echo what Rob said. The build diversity has just been like my main selling point for this season, and I'm incredibly excited for it. I think it'll keep people playing a little bit longer. it'll also encourage some more group play, and that's what I really focused around. So I'm pretty excited about that. And if it is going to be a longer season, it'll probably give me a chance to actually get onto some of the other classes. I don't have a ton of time to actually game. I get a couple hours a night after work, but it's not a lot. So I'm pretty excited to like explore a whole bunch of different builds, and the Chaos Armor does translate to several different builds. So if I find a piece that I need, it should be able to be used in several different builds, and I can just translate those over and play more builds probably faster than I normally would have. And this joke has been going on in my stream for a very long time. I absolutely love the game. I have very little complaints because I don't get to play a lot, and so I don't really need too much out of a game. I just want to get on and blast with people. But the one thing that I would like to change in the game, no dead ends to the pits. That's it.
Oh yeah,
And the
dead ends
third
and pits. Oh my god, man.
I would be happy with that.
Dead ends and pits is real Alta 4 material, man.
I think even worse than that is just, like, we still don't have a third floor. Like there's still pits you run on progress. Like what the hell? That's even
running out of
worse
a
than that.
monster. Oh my god, running out of monsters is the worst.
It's mostly this weird jail map, right? It is like 90% of the issues with pits is this weird jail map. And
But
I don't know,
others.
like if I remember, there's like a seasonally post about the jail map still being shit in like the feedback, but it's nothing being done about
That's
it.
feedback for 1 year already.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have maybe if we all spam it, they'll start changing it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's it for me. I'm just happy with the build diversity, and I just enjoy playing the game. So I'm going to get on and keep on blasting because blasting for a short amount of time because that's what I love to do.
Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, Roos, what do you think?
I'm extremely excited about the new Chaos Power that flips the Necro specific one that flips your core skills into ultimates and your ults into core skills. It's pretty much the biggest
Alta the Balance?
Necro...
Is that the
one? I think that's what it's called. I don't remember the name, but that's like pretty much the biggest like Necro meta shift that we've ever had. Like Necro's been playing like the same stuff forever. This is the first season where we've got a lot of new stuff to look at. So I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of fun, like 3 crafting builds and min-maxing stuff. There's still a lot of work to do, even still, a lot more testing to do. But then in terms of the future, I guess like more personally, we're gonna be like expanding our like content starting this season. We're gonna be covering more classes and stuff. I'm really excited for that. So I guess like personally, what I'm most excited about with the future D4 is kind of branching out and doing stuff that isn't just necro builds. Starting this season, I'm gonna be trying to cover Sork, talk a little bit about Barbarian. We'll see how all this goes, but yeah, I'm trying out some new stuff.
That's cool for sure. All right.
For me, honestly, it's very similar to what Rob thinks. And I have to say, one of my favorite seasons, actually, if I think about it, was the season they released Hordes. Because that season, I literally just played like
Hordes,
whole months or more, just Hordes with my friends all day, and
S5
chilled in Discord, played with viewers, chatted all day, and it was really fun. And I'm glad we have another season like that where there's an incentive to play in a group, and it's not just Belial. It's like, okay, come on, press the chest so I can press it. Like, oh god. I like
the thing is, season 5 was when Hordes were introduced. T8 Hordes was actually difficult.
It was really hard.
That's why
it was hard.
That's why it kept many people motivated to play as well, which is a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
how
after my
great
build
would it
also
be if the Infernal Hordes would be like hard content or
it
scaling
would
in some
amazing.
way?
It would
Especially
am-
now,
it would
I was kind of expecting this season actually. Like when they said it's gonna be in the roadmap, like a half year ago, it's gonna be a full rework. I like what they did with Infernal Hordes, but the big problem is it's still just T4 content, and this season, all the builds like they all scale it easy, and it's just not challenging. And in the end, you're just gonna stand there, and your party member is gonna one shot everything, and you're just gonna stand there like, what the hell?
The lightning sorks, the lightning spear sorks, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the pets
really
gonna auto attack everything.
I was really hoping to see at the end of your 10 waves with this whole rework that they had talked about before this, that all of a sudden the floor dropped out from below you. You fell down another tier, and all of a sudden the monsters were harder. We had to continue on the waves. I was just fantasy in my head.
Yeah, but they initially talked about like the whole rework. I thought like, okay, surely it's gonna be endless now, right? Like 30-second 30-second waves, endless until you die, right? And then you go. If you die, you respawn in a reward room, and then you pick up the pieces, right?
that'd be badass.
That would have been awesome, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then they kind of chose to
I mean,
step
it's
purple on there.
decent
and,
what they did. Like it's much better, but
Yeah,
it's not
it is
innovative.
better. It is
It's
better.
but it's not innovative at all.
Like
Yeah.
it's good, but it could have been great, right?
Yep.
You just summed up
I mean,
the last 2 years.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
same
my
for
whole
Bartok,
limit-
right? Like, I had expectations for the boss to be like, I don't know, like they could make it like a Lilith Caliban kind of boss fight. Instead, it's just a pushover. Like all the builds, they're just gonna one shot the Bartok. Like
Yeah.
if you have half decent
Yeah.
gear.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, right? But it would have been kind of cool to have something else that's challenging other than T100 pits or like T100 whatever plus pits, right? That would have been kind of cool. I still think the game would massively benefit from having more outlets of difficulty, like
Yeah.
more things that are actually hard. But maybe we're gonna see
Totally.
something in the future.
I mean, an easy example, like
Hopefully.
somebody mentioned it earlier, like we used to have those tormented bosses. Like, why don't we have like a tormented Bartok that has like, I don't know, 50 times the HP, 50 times the damage? It's actually a really challenge. And it costs, I don't know, it costs like 2,000 cinders. And you can only really get it like if you get like a really like crazy chaos wave or something, right? I don't know, like it's
Pretty
just
much.
an example. Like it's just like there's also problems with that.
Yeah.
But like either way, like just some crazy stuff or tormented Belial or something, right? That's like I don't know, pit 100 difficulty
I think-
plus.
I think the big issue with these kind of things is if you just keep increasing the health of bosses and maybe the damage a little bit, it kind of becomes quite, it's just a numbers game.
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that's the simple
the bosses-
thing, right? They could also add more mechanics or like I
Yeah,
don't
it
know, do
needs to have
something
more
else. Like, they
mechanics
don't
and
have to
stuff,
like.
yeah.
It's just like an easy example of like they could like probably code this in a
Yeah.
day, but like it's like they could make some crazy and great stuff, of course.
It feels
Yeah,
like
it's just like
a-
in D3, right? When it just kept increasing torment tiers, and it was kind of the same thing of what we did before, just the numbers were higher. That's a solution you can do, but it does smooth out the progression just a little bit, but realistically speaking, it's still the same thing. Right, which
I
is
remember. You guys
not
remember like
ideal.
when the game launched, like how hard nightmare dungeons were. Like getting to high level nightmare dungeons was
Yeah.
super difficult.
T100
And then-
Nightmare Dungeons
And then
were
they did that
difficult.
patch where they made T100 Nightmare Dungeons as hard as 70s. Like they basically, or like, as the
Yeah.
old 70s when they rescaled the Nightmare
Yeah.
Dungeons. And it feels like in general, there's always been this feeling that I've had from updates that they want the game to be clearable and beatable by everyone. So like everyone is supposed to beat everything. And the problem is it means like there's all challenging content always ends up getting nerfed or removed. And it just feels like, it just over time the game just gets easier and easier and easier, and then we'll have a patch that makes it harder, and then it'll get easier and easier over time, and then we'll have a patch that makes it harder, and it gets easier and easier and easier, and we have a patch.
Yeah. This is
And
exactly
it
what
just
we
feels
had in season 7, right? Like when the power creep was
Yep,
so ridiculous.
exactly.
And then after that, we had the campfire where they said, oh, we want T4 to be aspirational for 10% of the players. That was like half a year ago. and what happened now? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's,
They always say they want to make it harder than
we
background.
were
shit.
in this cycle. Like, right now, like this season, the game is like probably as easy as
Yeah.
season 7, or maybe even the easiest it has ever been for like all the classes, which is good that all classes are
Yeah.
viable. But people will run out of content extremely fast this season.
Dude, we're all
Another
lightweight
Unless
necros
they
from
want to
season
do
7.
unless they want to do the Chaos Hour chase, right? Where they get like perfect
Of
chase.
course, but like like most people that come back to the game that played like occasionally, like for us, like we're a bit different. But like people that just come back to the game, like they're gonna like I don't know, play for a week and then there's nothing to do for them at least.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Right. At this point, I think we have had a great podcast so far. I want to wrap it up here. I want to thank everyone for joining. It's been absolutely amazing. I personally had a blast listening to all of you guys and hearing the opinions and just bouncing around ideas and talking about everything. It's been absolutely amazing. Hopefully, this is not going to be the last podcast that we hold. I'm looking forward to doing these more in the future and invite different people in over. We're going to have some other people from the MOBA team come in, try to get some other guests as well. Absolutely a big thank you to Rob for joining us as a VIP guest this time.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Surely try to collaborate more on a few things in the future as well. So yeah, thank you everyone. And this video of the podcast is going to be on the Mobalytics YouTube channel as well. And yeah, thanks everyone. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all
Yeah,
of you.
thank you. That was
Yeah,
a
thanks,
lot of
friends.
fun.
It was really fun. It was really fun.
Have a great day and enjoy the season start.
Yeah, good luck, everybody.
Good luck with the season
Let's
start.
go,
And
GG.
have fun and enjoy. Thank you, guys.
All right,
See ya.
everybody.